Happy Wednesday night, November 24th, this eve of Thanksgiving. I'm Justin LaBar. He is Alfred Konuwa. Another Wednesday night to talk about AEW Dynamite and more wrestling headlines here on the Wrestling Inc. Podcast pages of YouTube, Twitch, and wherever else you may get your podcast. Alfred, how you doing?
Good, man. Back in Chico, California for the holidays. Of course, we've talked about Chico a couple of times on this podcast. The land of stars. This is a star-making territory that is very fertile with star power from, Brian Cage, who's in the news this week, and Aaron Rodgers and myself. So it's good to be joined by all of you. And apologies in advance if the signal goes fuzzy, but you're in Chico, California. Just enjoy the star power and the rub everybody's going to get from this wonderful city.
You mean Chico gave you the key to the city, but they didn't give you stronger internet?
Yeah, still trying to figure out that security key, but we'll see if it works.
Good stuff. Well, I trust you're in Chico to spend time with the family on this holiday week, as we hope everybody tomorrow, if you're listening to us live Wednesday night, we hope everybody tomorrow has a safe holiday and has it with loved ones and has something to be thankful for. We are all thankful for each other. We're thankful for this podcast. We're thankful for Manscaped, our wonderful sponsor of this podcast episode, which we'll touch on in just a little bit. But Al, before we go to AEW Dynamite coming from Chicago, let's touch on a few of the news headlines, all of which you can find in full on WrestlingInc.com. Let's start with Johnny Gargano. Johnny, his contract, believed to have previously was going to expire on Friday, December 3rd, but he's now had it extended. We're learning that it's been extended by a week, and this is going to allow him to take part in the War Games event, which is going to take place Sunday, December 5th. This all according to Fightful. Fightful saying that his contract has now been extended, like I said, a week to Friday, December 10th. So Fightful goes on to note this has kind of got parallels to the Adam Cole situation in the sense of he's adding a little bit extra time to at least get the commitments of the booking done that's right now. And, that's being looked at as a positive thing to the office that, hey, this guy's willing to do business. He's at the very least, he's going to go out the right way and let us finish, what we have booked for him and for the territory. I guess the question is, Alfred, is this a true repeat of an Adam Cole situation? Does Johnny Gargano find himself, on TBS in January on AEW programming?
He could leave. I mean, I'm not as excited about the idea of Gargano to AEW as I am in terms of this latest free agency class. I mean, you've got whether it's O'Reilly, Kevin Owens, or Gargano. I mean, the indies are kind of struggling right now, and I'm more interested in the idea of these guys rebuilding the indies. And eventually, it's going to have to come to that, whether or not they want to go to AEW, because AEW cannot take on all these guys, and even if they do, they're not all going to thrive. So there's just a lot of free agents out there, and we need to kind of figure out how to rebuild.
Yeah, kind of going off what you said there, Alfred. I don't think this has as much juice necessarily behind it as Adam Cole's did, and then there's where's the leverage? Where's the difference at here for Adam Cole or for Johnny Gargano in relation to the Adam Cole situation? Does Johnny have the leverage? Does he want to stay? Obviously, he was he's been Mr. NXT as Johnny. It's a very different NXT than what it was when he got there. So this is. It's intriguing, but maybe for different reasons. As you said, heavy, very busy situation right now on the Indies in terms of the names of talent that are out there, and obviously Ring of Honor basically being no more. So we'll keep an eye on it. If I had to guess, I would say that Johnny Gargano is going to stay in the WWE umbrella. I think he would stay. I think he'd seek it out and seek to make the most of what he can. Maybe maybe he has better opportunities awaiting for him, maybe on Raw or SmackDown. I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, just because the market is so flooded right now of talent, I think if Johnny can get another good, solid contract and stay where he's been and stay where his wife is, I think that's probably the best thing to consider for Johnny Gargano.
Hi.
Hello.
Are we back?
I see you.
Hello, everybody.
You good? Oh, Alfred's freezing up on me again. There he is.
I feel like I'm looks like it's back. Can you hear me? Am I back?
You're there, yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, everybody. I apologize in advance. That's number one. I think we're good now.
All right, Alfred's back with us. We think we'll keep him. All right, so we take a look at Johnny Gargano. Let's take a look at some of the stories real quick here. We got Stephanie McMahon. She was doing an interview recently with TalkSport, and it was the conversation came up about her daughters, the three daughters that her and Triple H have, 15, 13, and 11. And she talks about how one daughter kind of wants to be wants Pop-Pop's job, wants Vince's job. She also talks about how her oldest daughter, who's already started training in the ring, and her youngest daughter is all personalities, and so we'll keep an eye on her. So all three of them have some maybe connection potentially to the business as they get older. I mean, I guess the question is, it's right there for them. It's kind of like what company would they be stepping into in 5, 10, 15 years, whenever the time may come for each of those young ladies. Interesting thing to watch.
I like the idea that there is a McMahon in training in terms of pro wrestling. I was very surprised to hear Stephanie McMahon kind of nonchalantly just be like, oh, yeah, by the way, my 15-year-old is training and wrestling right now. And I'm very surprised that she's like working the ropes and whatnot. That's good. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see which one of these McMahons, the next generation, wants to actually be a wrestler, and which one of them is more captivated by the office side, and which one of them maybe isn't even interested in wrestling at all. Because, when you have kids and you want them to go one way as a parent, sometimes they end up going a completely different direction. So I think it's pretty encouraging that at least one of them wants to get into the family business. And I'm very interested to see how that works politically moving forward in terms of the opportunity she gets and how the internet receives that type of star.
Yeah, I mean, what pressure being, I mean, just the pressure that's there. I mean, obviously Shane and Stephanie felt, I'm sure, some of it in their own regard when they had to work their way up from the bottom up. But then, again, being, a daughter of Stephanie and Triple H, just the pressure you feel if you want to pursue, not if you don't want to go to the office route, but if you want to pursue the in-ring portion, and just, locker rooms can already be a little bit hostile and political in the first place. So a lot to watch there, but very interesting that the girls are showing interest. So we'll keep an eye on that as the years go on. And finally, one of the craziest stories we've had in recent time. Obviously, this past Monday, everybody's probably aware by this point that Seth Rollins was attacked by a fan who jumped the barricade at Barclays Center and basically speared Rollins, and until Rollins got him in a headlock, and security was able to separate and take this person away. It turned out his name's Eliza Spencer, and he spoke with the New York Daily News. Alfred, this is a really bizarre story. So basically, Eliza Spencer in this interview is kind of revealing, what motivated him. He's 24 years old. What motivated him to jump the barricade and attack Seth Rollins in the manner he did? And he basically reveals that he had some interactions in the past. I think 2019, he had some interactions in the past with what he thought was Seth Rollins online. It turned out to be a catfish, a bogus, fake Seth Rollins account, where this account, basically extorted money out of Spencer and got him to pay money and do things, again, all under the guise that he's talking to Seth Rollins and he's trying to break into the business, and would realize that that's not the case. And so Eliza Spencer, that was apparently motivation. It's weird. There's like the real aspect of that, of like, okay, I'm mad that I got scammed by who I believe is Seth Rollins. But then there's like the bizarre, it's still real to me, damn it, kind of thing, where he also says and admits that he also jumped the barricade because he wanted to help Finn Balor. Of course, Rollins, who was taking on Balor. So like, there's this bizarre blurring of lines of, was this a personal matter? Did he actually think it's a personal matter, or was he like really wrapped up in the show? So I don't know. It was pretty. I remember being at Barclays for the Hall of Fame when Bret Hart was attacked, and that was scary. And I remember, where I remember watching, it felt like in slow motion watching the guy who wasn't even really a barricade, but he just jumped in the ring. And I remember watching him come across the entire arena floor as he slid in, and just had that weird, it had a very ominous feeling. Like, it just felt like, this is not right. This is scary. What is this guy doing? And this is all, of course, going in just a matter of seconds, but you just go back and feel that. It's very scary. And then, watching this happen to Rollins, very scary stuff. I mean, this guy got a clear shot at him. This was not, we've seen other guys jump the barricade and try to get in the ring, and, maybe they don't even make it to the ring before they're tackled by a security or wrestler. This guy, came around the staging area and just a full on running tackle on Rollins. And I mean, thank God Rollins was not actually seriously hurt. But scary stuff, and whatever the motivation may be, it's no excuse. Hopefully, I'm with. I think Rollins was talking to TMZ. I'm with him. Hopefully, this guy, is banned from any future WWE events, because just too crazy, too scary. wild stuff. Like, I always think, like, too, when people jump the barricade, like, what is the, like, there's the difference between when there's, like, the drunk idiot that's like, oh, like, somebody dares him, oh, you wouldn't get in there, oh, you're not as big as him, and, like, they just do it to, it's the same guys that just want to, like, drunk streak across like a football field or the soccer pitch. Like, it's one thing when it's just, like, the drunk, obnoxious motivation, but, like, when I see, like, this, and when I see the guy who, tackled Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame, that the scary thought is, like, what is their motivation? What are they trying to hope to do? What are they capable of doing? What do they think they're capable of doing? That's the scary stuff. Whenever these things happen, and Seth Rollins, like, obviously he's him and Becky are together. They just had a baby. I believe we've learned that they're traveling, around on the luxury buses. A lot of the top talents eventually, kind of gravitate to avoid air travel and all that stuff. And so probably traveling with the newborn baby and whatever other family. So, like, when you put it in that perspective and you think, like, Seth's family, Seth's child potentially was steps away, on property. It's just a scary, scary thing. These people, just crazy people doing that. Like, just stop jumping the barricade, will you please? Stop jumping the barricade. I think Alfred's trying to jump the barricade. Is he back, or did security tackle him? There's Alfred. All right, we have a visual on Alfred. Do we have audio on Alfred?
Hello, do we have audio?
Now we have audio. Now I hear you.
Okay. We're going to have to do this from my phone. I think this is going to be the better way to do this. And I know you were talking about the Seth Rollins fan. That guy's crazy. That's my take.
Yes, very crazy. Very crazy. Yeah, just stop doing it, guys. It's just not worth it. It's not worth a night in jail, not worth being banned. So, all right, Alfred, let's get into AEW Dynamite. Now that you're back with us, I didn't want to get into this part without you, because this might be the most interesting part of the entire night, and it is the first 20 minutes of Dynamite. CM Punk comes out for his match, but the match is going to have to wait as he's interrupted by Maxwell Jacob Friedman. There is a lot of bulletin board material to unpack in this, so we'll kind of go piece by piece. Hopefully I don't miss anything. MJF starts it out for quite a bit here, talks about how, the pipe bomb, that's what Punk was best known for. And, but MJF says, oh, your pipe bombs, I drop nukes. And then says, I'm going to verbally finish you quicker than your UFC career. And then Punk fires back that MJF stands for my jealous fan. And maybe one of the bigger lines of the night, CM Punk says, MJF, you're just a less famous Miz. And then begins, we start naming other WWE wrestlers and promos, talking about pipe bombs, talking, we start naming, Punk starts saying, or excuse me, MJF starts saying that you should be called PG Punk. You should be out here preaching hustle, loyalty, respect. You've always been second best, whether it's to that you can't see me guy or whether it's to the King of Kings guy. Punk fires back, hey, I was selling out MSG when you were still marking out for Rosie O'Donnell. And Punk goes, MJF, the only way you'll be number one is if we all sit around and wait long enough, and if Tony Khan has a daughter and you marry her. This was just chock full of, pot shots. Alfred, what do you make of this? Do you like does it hurt AEW in any way to have to use WWE names and references to garner heat? Does it make them look less, or is it just smart of them to do?
I think it's smart of them to do, and they do it in certain segments. These are top stars when they're really trying to get the heat for the main event segments, and I don't think it's a problem yet. I think that if they start becoming known for this, there's always going to be a ceiling. But as of right now, that's something, because we pretty much wait for a couple of years to decidedly these WWE references that they get these big reactions. So I don't think that it's a problem. And I actually enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. I don't have a problem with them making WWE references at this junction. I will say that I did think that CM Punk outclassed MJF in this promo. I love this. I thought MJF was good. CM Punk was and I'm not used to seeing MJF in a promo that usually best you're hanging with MJF. Early on, MJF's references were, in terms of whether it's Colt Cabana, whether it's the UFC reference which you did make, or see, he did it in a way which blew past references to Colt. He blew past you could make. So I do think the creativity, whereas I think CM Punk did have a lot of creativity with his.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, honestly, it's like, everybody, I think sometimes it's one of the criticisms that WWE gets is that that they don't acknowledge anything else. That they act like they're the only thing that exists in the pro wrestling space. So I mean, it probably does, at least right now for AEW. I mean, hey, acknowledge that there are other people. Acknowledge that CM Punk was somewhere else, which is where his name got reached the height of its fame. So yeah, I think overall, I don't mind the references. I don't know if calling him a less famous Miz. I don't know if actually starting to name guys and doing comparisons like that. It gets a big ooh, he said that, but I don't know if those kind of lines do good. But I don't see a problem. Making mention of you were second best to Cena or second best to Triple H. And kind of addressing things that even Punk himself addressed in so many ways, which is, hey, I want that damn spot. Give me that spot. I'm your world champion. Why am I not the last match of the night? So I think there's a line to walk, but I don't mind them mentioning it because again, it's just kind of just being transparent, which is AEW's been better at that, at just going with what the fans what the temperature is, which is, hey, the companies all exist. So we'd see Punk versus QT Marshall. No real surprise here. CM Punk gets the win with the GTS. I got to wonder, Alfred, when do we eventually see the payoff, though, of Miz? There we go.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
There we go. When do we get the payoff of MJF and Punk? I mean, I don't think they have another pay-per-view until February. Of course, they do have a special, which they advertised later in the night for January 8th. It's called Battle of the Belts from Charlotte. Well, we can talk about that as well here in a minute. I'll be curious when they decide how long can this war of words go until it's time to pull the trigger and have these two guys.
Yeah, I could see Battle of the Belts. I don't think that's too early. I mean, we've got another month or so until that. And I do think that they could wear themselves thin just cutting promos against each other, because this is what this feud is going to be based around, is the different promos they can cut. But after a month of this, I do think it could start to get old. I think that there has to be a peak and a crescendo to them going back and forth to where they finally fight. It's a perfect target date for that.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's anything off turn. I wonder if there's anything off limits. Like, I wonder if there's any list of you cannot say this in these promos.
I think the Colt Cabana thing, I think we found out tonight, just all the places that MJF went, the fact that he did not even speak that name in Chicago, I think this is a place to do it if you're going to make a Colt Cabana reference. And I think that's the thing in terms of being very salty at the moment. I think that might be the thing that's off limits.
Yeah, we don't want to dig up that legal wound again.
Right.
All right, we see Eddie Kingston backstage. He's interrupted again by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. They eventually throw drink on him and then have to be separated. Kind of a little bit of a brouhaha going on back there with Kingston and those guys. Back to the ring, we get Colton and Billy Gunn up against Bear Country with a little bit of distraction because Austin Gunn's also out there. Colton's going to end up getting the win here. But the real story is post-match. Sting comes out, and then as Austin Gunn goes to rush Sting on the stage, Darby Allin is just shot out of the tunnel and just gives him just a straight shoulder tackle, leveling him. And then they go to the ring and scare off the Gunn. So here's Billy Gunn, who just looks in phenomenal shape for his age. Here he is with his boys, and getting thrusted into a big spot here, regular rotation on AEW programmer right now against one of their hottest acts in Sting and Darby Allin. So this is showing the depth that AEW does have right now of calling upon Billy Gunn and his sons.
And you talk about depth. I'm looking at Bear Country, like, man, the fact that these guys are just kind of enhancement talent at the moment, where they're just there to kind of take a loss and they're not really featured on TV. These guys are very impressive looking. And I'm just thinking, like, hopefully there's a window for them to do something, because I really do like Bear Country from a visual alone, just enormous men. And I do like the fact that Colton Gunn and the Gunn Club are actually now getting a shot with somebody who's in a bigger position like Darby Allin. I thought Darby looked very explosive doing that dive out of the tunnel. There's really nothing like him in terms of how fast. Maybe, you can compare it to like a Leo Rush and whatnot, but just based on the crazy dives that Darby does, I really do like seeing him do that. So this is good for the Gun Club. I really do like it, because I do think Austin and Colton can be very talented and big players in terms of AEW in the future, and they're now actually getting their shot.
Yeah, you mentioned Bear Country visually. They look great for the pro wrestling space. Visually, I don't know if they're using Manscaped or not. I cannot confirm. Manscaped, of course, our wonderful sponsor of this podcast. And with the holiday season here, whether it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's Christmas, whatever it might be, this is the perfect time for you to get into Manscaped. Whether you want to join the over 4 million men like Alfred and myself, or whether you want to gift it for your buddy or for your significant other, any of those options are possible. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Performance Package 4.0, and they're hooking you up with 20% off and free shipping. That's right. Receive 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com by using the code WINC20. 2020. And the Performance Package 4.0 is the perfect package for your package. It's got the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance Boxer briefs, very comfortable, and the travel bag shaving kit to hold all of those goodies no matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to Chico, California, or you're right there in your home bathroom. Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces those grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. That's right, a lot less risk of trying to gig yourself and getting color, brother. It's also got that 4000K LED spotlight. It can go on or off whenever you need it. It also has the fact that it's waterproof, so that is a big win for your use of the Lawnmower 4.0. Also in the package, there's the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds in the top of your nose and ear. It's got the 9,000 RPM motor-powered, 360 degrees rotary dual blade system to provide the proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent the nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate areas. And, of course, we can't forget the liquid formulations that are like the pumpkin pie of this entire Thanksgiving feast. That's right, the liquid formulations, the ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner spray, and just launched the brand new body wash, the 2-in-1 body wash, shampoo plus conditioner. And this is going to have that signature scent that is famous with Manscaped. It's going to help unlock that confidence again, whether you want it for yourself and you want to be selfish, or whether you got to gift it for somebody else. Can make a great stocking stuffer. Manscaped.com. Use the code WINC20. Save 20%. Get that free shipping. That's what's going to make your holiday season just a little bit better. Manscaped.com. We thank them very much for the support of this podcast.
The day before Thanksgiving, before you carve your turkey, make sure you carve the ball.
There it is. So we mentioned the January 8th Battle of the Belts. It looks like another one of these Dynamite specials that they seem to work in around the clock. It's coming from Charlotte. You can't think Charlotte and not think about technically a free agent out there. Alfred, did it cross your mind? Is this a potential date? Does a Ric Flair enter the Forbidden Door?
I don't know if it's too soon or not. I mean, it would be a fun moment. I don't know how far away Ric Flair is from last time he was canceled, I guess you consider. He doesn't have a podcast. He's back out there. He's fighting with Becky Lynch. We have heard the rumblings that he might come back to AEW or come to AEW to debut there, but North Carolina would be perfect. I mean, obviously, that country, I'd be very surprised if it happened at this moment.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, he does have a new podcast out with Mark Madden. They're out every single week, I believe, on Wednesday. So already after a couple episodes, making some headlines with what's coming out of there. So we'll keep an eye. Nature Boy Ric Flair there. Obviously, Charlotte's still in WWE. Andrade's in AEW. Rumors of who's following who on social media. Don't know what to make there, but we'll see how that all continues to unfold. We get some women's action here. We get Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa. And, of course, Thunder Rosa's outnumbered with Rebel and Britt out there. And the Thunder Rosa is going to end up getting a win here. She's going to advance in the tournament. A good match. I thought some of the distraction spots were, again, these are more on the weak spots of AEW with how they sometimes bury the referees, just to be quite blunt. But overall, Thunder Rosa wins. But the match itself was very good. Very good women's match, I thought.
It was, and anytime you have to look up the ref's name, because I remember that it was Rick Knox, but I just had to look up like, God, this ref's doing a bad job. But I have to see which ref this is. And it's not the referee's fault, obviously. It's more in terms of how the match is booked and how that finish was booked. The referee looked like an absolute fool in terms of just, quote unquote, being distracted for as long as he was, and all that was going on for him not to see it, I think really kind of took away from what was a good match. This is Jamie Hayter's best match for me, against a talented Thunder Rosa, but I think it was sullied by that finish.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was one of the better. I mean, not even just Jamie Hayter, again, just one of the better women's matches that we've had recently. So, I mean, shout out again to both of them. Thunder Rosa advancing in the tournament. All right, up next, we mentioned Colt Cabana earlier. Colt Cabana versus Bryan Danielson. We get the stat thrown out there on commentary. They've had 5 career singles matches against each other, 4 of which Danielson took the win. 1 that went to a time limit draw in Chicago, in fact. So, Colt Cabana is still chasing his first victory against the American Dragon, and he's not going to get it here. Bryan Danielson's going to get the win. Post-match interview, he says he's going to continue kicking the heads in of members of the Dark Order until he gets to Hangman Adam Page. He says they're going to be in the Atlanta area next week. He calls out any Dark Order member who's from the Atlanta area. Hangman Adam Page comes out. He says, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this right now. I want to fight. Let's just go ahead and defend this title right now. And Bryan says, oh, no, of course you would do that. I just had a match. Doesn't want to do any of that. Well, nonetheless, brawl still ensues between the two. And then Hangman Page misses the buckshot lariat as Danielson just pulls out and backs out. So again, commentary kind of selling. When are we going to get this match? Again, another one that they're going to kind of milk and string along. And obviously they've kind of shown us a formula what they're going to do. It seems like Danielson's just going to do a Dark Order gauntlet until the time and place is ready for he versus Adam Page.
Yeah, and I like, in terms of Bryan Danielson being a heel, he's going to have to try a little harder because people inherently want to cheer him, but he's doing a great job not only with his heel promos, but I like that story they're telling of Bryan Danielson constantly getting challenged by Hangman Adam Page. This week, Hangman was in full gear, ready to go, and Bryan Danielson now had another excuse as to why he doesn't want to do it. So I think that this should be a staple of this feud, is that after every one of these matches that Bryan Danielson wins against the Dark Order, Hangman Adam Page wants to go, or maybe even before one of these matches, Hangman Adam Page wants to go, and Bryan Danielson always has an excuse until it happens. This is really good storytelling and a very easy way to get him booed.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I like I like Bryan throwing a little callback to the fickle of the fans being fickle.
Yes. Oh, they like that. I heard a couple of people really pop for that when he said fickle.
Yeah. Yeah, the fickle is a big pop. Speaking of what is a pop and what's not, and what the fans are liking, what they're not, we get the main event tonight here, and a person of interest, of course, we'll talk about. We get the Malachi Black, FTR, and Andrade versus Pac, Lucha Brothers, and Cody. Cody, again, resounding boos for his WrestleMania style entrance that he does, and with his special entrance that he gets. And big note here is towards the first part of the match as he takes off his weightlifting belt, throws it in the crowd, and they proceed to throw it back.
Yeah, they do.
And to which Andrade then kind of impromptu grabs it and then just throws it under the ring. As I'm watching this, Alfred, this was a huge distraction. One of the guys, I think Dax and somebody else, maybe Pac, they're going at it in the ring, trying to carry on the match, and nobody has any care of them. Everybody's just all about booing Cody and engaging in this. It's almost like Andrade throws the belt under there just to get it out of sight, out of mind. Cody then has the security guard that's in the ringside area go and get the belt. It gives it back to him so he could put it back on. He would eventually throw it to the crowd later. But let's just talk about Cody before we even get to the match and where the stories are all going. Where is the line, Alfred? At what point do we say, okay, he's being stubborn? He doesn't want to turn because he wants, at what point is he being stubborn? Do you get where I'm going at here with this?
I absolutely get where you're going with this. And based on the reaction he's getting, which is palpably booed, you're going to naturally think, all right, this guy is going to have to turn heel. And yes, at some point, he is considered stubborn. At the same time, this is fun. I have no problem with this. I think he should ride this version of Cody out for as long as possible because it's so authentic. And the way we're covering this segment is a commentary on this, to where it's like, before we get to this match, let's talk about Cody and his reaction. I think Cody was bigger than this match. This is your garden variety 8-man tag, a very good match. I really like what we saw in terms of action wise, but the story coming out of this match was Cody's reaction. It's gotten to that point where it's really overshadowing things like this. And I think they need to learn how to kind of corral that to where the next time he's in a singles feud that really, really means something, I think it's going to really pop off based on these reactions he's getting, because there's nothing like this in AEW. There are some heels there who are heels and they act like heels, quote unquote, and they get the heel reaction. That's fine. And then there's baby faces who get a baby face reaction on that coin. But this in-between thing is very unique to AEW, and I think they need to ride this out and figure out how to corral it. They did it with John Cena. They did it with Roman Reigns, maybe not as successfully when he was a babyface, but they still were able to get some pretty hot main events at WrestleMania out of it. And I would like to see this version of babyface Cody Rhodes getting, quote-unquote, rejected by the crowd, because these are very loud, authentic reactions that overshadowed this match.
Yeah, and I mean, look, by the way, weightlifting belts are no joke. They're not light. So to have the fans throwing it back in the ring, that's not not your best safety practice.
Yeah. And I was shocked that he threw it back, that he went back a second time. He really wanted to prove his point, because that could have gotten dangerous. One of them, I mean, it was relatively close to Aubrey Edwards' head. So yeah, I didn't think it was a good idea to go back and throw it in the crowd again.
Well, the second time he threw it to, the people that are on the hard camera side, which, traditionally can be, friends or family or what have you. So I wouldn't put it past that he threw it to somebody or some bodies that maybe he knew that they would not throw it back, which all the more reason, if that's the case, kind of got me going, man, what a stubborn kind of feeling. The best thing you could hope for is to keep throwing in the crowd and they keep throwing it back. I mean, we all remember John Cena throwing his shirt into the crowd as he so famously does, and then when you get an unruly crowd throwing it back, it's just it gives a whole new life of energy. So yeah, we'll watch where this Cody stuff goes, but nonetheless, we have the match going on here between these heels and faces. A lot of action here, a lot of athletes in this ring. Ultimately, though, we're gonna get the Black Mist. Black's gonna spit the Black Mist into Pac's face, and then Pac's gonna get spiked by Andrade. So Andrade and the heels stand tall. So again, it kind of just it makes me just question, like with Cody, going back to Cody, what is the plan, or what's the audible now of the plan? He's been feuding with Malachi Black, who's just had his number since showing up. I'm just curious where they're going with this. This was kind of a very open-ended way to finish Dynamite in terms of, it kind of wraps. It is what it is. These 4 heels got the win. Okay, what next? Where do we go now?
Yeah, it's too long now because they've had a tag team match here. I would really like to see where they put singles, because it's going to be interesting. Look at some of Cody face. I think it would be a leap for them to really stretch and have Cody Rhodes play it. Then try to maybe another match. Now that's the way to go. Now, in AEW history, Cody Rhodes twice. I think it was a mistake, and maybe.
I think we lost Alfred. Well, Alfred's I don't think we only lost him. All right, well, we're gonna call on Alfred for the night. Well, is he coming back? Maybe. There he is.
Shut up, I really did jinx myself. I shut up.
Alfred, we're losing you. Sorry, we keep missing you. All right, well, that's gonna do it. It's kind of got to the points of what we wanted to get tonight. But obviously, I think the biggest hits tonight is looking at MJF and CM Punk and where we're gonna go from that. Of course, keeping an eye on where the Cody situation goes. Again, big thanks to everybody for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you celebrating that. Be safe, be smart. Of course, we're back next Wednesday. Alfred and I will be for AEW Dynamite. It's going to be in the Atlanta, Georgia area. We'll see where things go from that. Of course, WrestlingInc.com. They have all of your news and headlines every single day, 24/7, even on the holidays. So make sure you're following them. Of course, podcasts all around the week here on YouTube, Twitch, or wherever. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling accounts. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to Manscaped, and we will see you next week.